Hello, my name is May and today we're talking about books. More specifically, some of my highest rated books from 2021. All of these books have scored a 5-star rating on my Goodreads, so if you don't follow me there, I will leave a link in the description below. But without further ado, let's get on with book number 1. Which I don't actually have a copy of anymore because I left at my brother's house. But book number 1 is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. It was so beautiful. Like when I say it was one of the most beautiful books I'd ever read, I'm being serious. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is about a girl who makes a deal with the devil. She becomes immortal but then is cursed so everybody forgets her. The premise of the book alone is absolutely outstanding, but the delivery is absolutely flawless. Now, V.E. Schwab is one of my favourite authors ever, so perhaps I'm being a bit biased, but this book is incredible. And the ending, I would give this book 10 out of 5 stars if I could, so I would highly recommend you reading it. Even if you are a bit wary, as V.E. Schwab is generally known as a fantasy writer, but we kind of swerve more away from that and more into adult fiction in this one. But my god, when I tell you it's beautiful, god damn is it beautiful. By the way, my t-shirt says Phases of the Moon and it's got cats on it. I will leave a link in the description below for you guys. But on to book number 2. Klara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. This is the first book I have ever read by Ishiguro. I didn't know what an astounding writer he was until I had the pleasure of reading Klara and the Sun. I also read Never Let Me Go last year, which of course also got 5 stars. I thought I'd go with Klara here just because it's the most recent. Now, I had no idea what to expect when I stumbled upon reading this book. There it was, humbly sitting in my Amazon recommended, and I was like, I'm gonna go for it. It gave me so many emotions that I cannot explain. Klara is an artificial friend. In loose terms, meaning she is a robot that parents buy for their children to look after them. And we follow the story of Klara as she is chosen from her store to join someone's family and be the little girl's artificial friend. It was very different, especially for me. I don't read that much science fiction. I don't know if it can be classed as science fiction, but it's definitely got a dystopian element to it. Much like all of his other books, he layers very nicely on a level of traditional literature and dystopian literature. It also had one of the most heartbreaking endings I have ever read. So you have that to look forward to if you decide to read it. I'm really selling this one, aren't I? Read it and you'll cry. But if you are looking for something a little different, but still beautiful, go for this. Or Never Let Me Go. Either or, you will still be sad, but happy that you've read them. Book number 3. We have How to Kill Your Family by Mackie. I'm really coming at you with the interesting books this year. There will be no fantasy from me. Okay, the last one's fantasy, but we'll get to it. So this is about a girl called Grace who finds out her biological dad is a multi-millionaire. And who also happened to treat her mother like absolute rubbish. So to make up for that, she decides to kill his entire family, so she is the only person left for the inheritance. Fun concept, right? Sometimes I sound very serial killery in my videos. I don't mean to. So How to Kill Your Family is the story of exactly that. How she killed her entire family. It's very good. Obviously, if you're not into dark humour, I would not recommend it. But if you have a little bit of dark and twisty in you, I think you'll like it. It has a really nice story progression. Sometimes when books jump around different points in time, it really annoys me as it disrupts the fluidity of the story. J. Kristoff, Empire of the Vampire, I'm talking to you. I did not need 2 storylines at once. He only got 4 stars for that one, which is why he's not on this list. But this one got 5, because this one's time jumps worked beautifully. Good twist ending. I love a twist ending. I'm one of those people that can pretty much always guess the end of books. I didn't guess the end of this one, and I was really happy with it. And now we're on to book number 4. The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker. This was an interesting one as it is historical fiction, or as historical as you can get for something written about the Greeks in 2019. So not very historical, but it was good. If you don't follow me on Instagram, which you definitely should, it's at May Simons, the same as my YouTube, but we took a family trip to Greece this year. There's us in Greece. But because we were going to Greece, I wanted to read something about Greece. So I picked up a book about the Trojans. In this story, we follow a character called Precise. I have no idea if that's how you say her name, but we're going with it.
That is most definitely not how you say it.
Who gets kidnapped? Well, there's a lot of looting and pillaging and ungodly things leading up to her kidnap. But basically she ends up becoming the bed slave of the oh so famous Achilles, who I thought was an absolute knob in the beginning, and by the end of it I actually quite liked him. But this is all before they sack the city of Troy. Don't know how historically accurate it was. As I've said before, my fiance knows a lot about Greek history, so the whole way through this I was going, Tom, does this really happen? Tom, where's Troy? Tom, how do you say this name? The characters are actually really believable, and lots of them are very likeable. It's interesting to see how the Greeks firstly starts as her enemy, but how the relationship evolves as she becomes more integrated within their society. I don't know if this is like a spoiler. I don't think it is. Now, I didn't know how this was going to end, as I don't know the Greeks very well. But if you know a lot about Achilles, then I think you're going to figure out the end. I'm not sure. Either way, it's a good read. And for book number 5. We got Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. Now, I don't know if I've ever spoken about this on my YouTube channel, but I'm a massive Shakespeare fan. I actually studied Shakespeare as my main point of interest when I was at school. So this book came out in 2020, and I don't know why it took me so long to read it. But I did, and I'm happy that I did. But I wouldn't say this book is just for lovers of Shakespeare, mainly due to the fact that she never references Shakespeare. She never calls him Will. They never mention the family name. As it's very open-ended, as obviously it's not historical fact. But Hamnet is loosely based on Shakespeare's only son, Hamnet, who is supposed to be the inspiration for Hamlet. Apparently the two words were very interchangeable back in the 1500s, so it's practically the same name, even though it's clearly not. But the boy Hamnet is said to have died in 1596 and was the event that supposedly influenced the writing of Hamlet. If you don't know what Hamlet is, I'm not going to explain it to you, because you should know. Again, another book that does the time jump very well. Still looking at you, J. Christoph, which joins them in present day as the children get sick with a fever and jumps back to when William Shakespeare met his wife. Again, not historically accurate, but his wife's character in this book I absolutely love. I thought she was amazing. And again, it's pretty sad. So sad, I struggled to read through sections of it. Again, I'm not selling these books very well. Read this other book on my list that will make you cry. And on to book number 6, the last one. Who does a 6 that way? Now, I spoke about the first book in this series way back in February 2021, but this one came out in September, I think, last year, so obviously I had to include it. And that is The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. If you watched the previous video I made, you know how much I raved about this series. It's like Harry Potter, but for the dark and twisty. The Last Graduate follows a group of kids as they try to graduate from their horrible demon-fueled school. I don't want to spoil too much because it is the second one. It had the most exciting ending I've read since, I think, Aurora Rising by J. Christoph. J. Christoph is trying to worm his way into this video, I tell you. I don't say this very often, as I never like to put down one book in the series and straight away pick up the next one. This made me want to do so, except for the third book she hasn't written yet. So please, Naomi Novik, could you write the third one? Again, we are met with the wonderful Elle, who is an unbelievably likeable but dislikable main character, and her journey as she tries to graduate from the Scholomance, or as she tries to help everybody graduate, which has never been done before because usually they all get eaten by demons. But if you have not read the first one, which is called A Deadly Education, pick them up, start reading the series. The only fantasy book I've included on this list, and for good reason. It's the only fantasy book this year which really made me go, damn, that was bloody good. That is it, you guys, my highest rated books of 2021. Let me know down in the comments below what books you read last year and if any you'd like to recommend. Clearly I have a very wide interest in all kinds of genres. So if it's historical fiction, apparently I'm going to read it. Apparently I'm into that now. Who knew? Leave me your suggestions and recommendations down below. While you are down there, hit that subscribe button. I upload new videos every single Sunday. I told you I'd upload every Sunday. I'm the second Sunday in to the new year, and we've got a video. Amazing! But until then, my darling flowers, stay wild, stay free, and I'll see you all later.